G'day traders, John from Crypto Candlestick Trading. Just doing an update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets and having a look at Bitcoin here on the weekly chart. As we can see here, we've come up, broken through with exuberance right from the start, which was a problem right from the start. This isn't the way a normal bull market will behave. Like these are faulty. As soon as they break out like this, straight away, it means that big money have pushed this up so hard and so fast that all the amateurs and retail traders are buying while institutional investors are selling. And so that's exactly what's happened here at this stage so far. But where can we see? What can we see so far? We've come across here and we've got a shooting star, perfect looking shooting star reversal, and then this is what's happened after it. But the problem happened right from here. This was the beginning stages of the problem. This is Bitcoin on the weekly chart. There's a couple of other things here that I wanted to mention here as well. Is that during the rise here, like have a look at how much volume there wasn't. Heading up, it just kind of died very, very quickly. Also, we have divergence up here. That was divergence there, and still the strength trying to come back up in these markets here. Even though we made a new higher high, we made lower lows on the strength. There was money, there was large institutions pulling out while amateur and retail traders were buying. And so that's basically what happened. So I was having a look at YouTube the other day, and I noticed that there was a lot of YouTubers saying, "Yes, we're in a new bull market. This is fantastic." And anyways, it's if you read the volume and the candles, you can kind of see that there's a few flaws with it. And usually with these flaws, you just need to stay away from the market until we get into nice tight trading like this and then get a breakout. Anyway, we'll just have a quick look at some of these on the weekly chart, and then we'll come back and have a look at the daily chart. So here, actually, just before I do go on this one here, how low can Bitcoin actually go? And I was just kind of having a look at the furthest kind of direction that Bitcoin could possibly go in. We've got our previous resistance here becomes new support, so we could probably look at something like there and around here, maybe about the 12,000 mark. We could even be looking around about there at the 18,000 mark. So pretty much 18,000 mark. There's very solid support there, and around about the 12,000 mark as well. There's solid support there. But let's just have a little bit of a look at an extension here. So what I'm basically doing here is measuring from there down, and I want to see how much that pullback was. And basically what I'll do is, and so now I want to bring that back. So if we look at this now as we've potentially got a top here, so we've got our first leg down, second leg, and a third leg down, being this one here. So this is basically saying that, if we get, and I've often found, like, I wouldn't really say that this one is going to do this, but this is a potential that we need to kind of keep our mind open for this potential. So we got leg one, leg two, and potentially leg three. Usually leg three, I've often found it to be longer than leg one, but in this case, I kind of doubt that. I'm not even confident that we'll actually get to these lows. But this is one thing that a lot of analysts will actually have seen this and be expecting that, well, this is a possibility, and that's 7,250 US. So if we end up going down to there, I'll definitely be loading up on some bitcoins at that stage there, especially. I'd kind of be hoping for a wick at this stage here, so I'll probably have some orders in down, just above here at this stage. Just to see, that's if we start making our way to these lows. First we've got to break this here. We're going to break the 50. There's quite a bit of stuff that we need to get through in order to go down that far. But anyway, we'll wait and see. So far at this stage here, we've failed at the 200. But then again, this candle hasn't closed yet. We've still got today to go. This is on the weekly chart. But everything's pointing down. Divergence. We're under the major moving averages so far, except for the 50. I'll just get rid of that drawing there. Actually, I'll get rid of it. And we'll just have a look at a few of these on the weekly chart. And one thing I did want to mention as well is that Michael Berry, who placed The Big Short, they actually made a movie of him, The Big Short. If you haven't seen it, great movie, you should watch it. And basically, he predicted the housing market, or he could see there was a lot of flaws fundamentally in the housing market, and even the charts weren't looking very good at all. Another thing we need to look at is distribution days. There was distribution days everywhere in those charts back in there. But anyway, Michael Berry, they even made a movie about it because it was so accurate and successful with his trade, housing the shorting market in 2007, 2008. And so now he's just placed a short on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. So let's just have a look at those and see what's happened there. So it's only a few weeks ago that he placed this short. And since then, we've basically given a massive engulfing reversal, and we're closing below the 9. But then again, this is not complete yet because we are still on the weekly chart, and it is still Sunday, not Monday. So And here we go again. So we've got like a shooting star, we've got an engulfing, and now we're closing below the 9. So things aren't looking too good for me here either. And we've gone up and we've closed. We're heading back down at this stage here, by the looks of it. So it appears that Michael Berry, because we actually had a nice uptrend. There was a nice little run that happened here with the Nasdaq and the S&P 500. So we were actually in a bull market with these ones here. So just having a look at these here on the daily chart, you can kind of see here that we're making highs, lows, higher highs, higher lows, and breaking through these major moving averages before we actually took off and went on this nice little run here. Anyway, so that's probably enough for the US indexes, but just to see where Michael Berry had actually placed his trades, and then this is the result of basically Wall Street seeing what he's done, and everyone seemed to have followed suit. That's the reason behind it. All right, let's just have a look at Bitcoin on the daily chart. And so Bitcoin on the daily chart, we can see here, there was so much selling up here, distribution days everywhere, institutional sellers everywhere. Even these green days here, there was institutional selling all amongst that because, these weeks here, selling off 30% up there. This isn't the way a strong bull market behaves. And then this one here was the last institutional selling day that actually broke a trend line. I'll just see if I can put that trend line up accurately or correctly. It was somewhere around there, and it went, somewhere down to here. I actually kept on going further than that. It even went down to this line down here. So that's that trend line there. And if we just have a look, we'll just open this up so we can see exactly what we're talking about. And so this here was a distribution day. This was the last institutional selling day before we had a big collapse. And we can see there by the volume it's confirmed. And here we're closing below the major moving averages, and we've got a little bit of indecision. So this to me looks like, well, whereabouts could it actually go? Here we have a lot of volume, but this isn't all selling volume. This candle came all the way down to here, and then all of a sudden the buyers stepped in back at these, lows here as a double bottom. And so then we've headed back up to here and closed here. Very next day, we've closed down a little bit lower, which isn't very good. If we close below this here, we can continue this downtrend. We can say this downtrend is going to continue if we close below here. But what I would probably be expecting is some sort of a pullback to the major moving average like the 200 and then a continuation of a downtrend. So far looking at this up here, so much institutional selling that's happened up here, but then again we can see a little bit of accumulation here. So we are under the major moving averages on the daily chart. We are above on the weekly chart though, on the 50 day moving average, which is the 10-week moving average. So okay, so moving on from there, we kind of see what, we are definitely in the oversold area too, but then again, we can stay oversold for quite some time. If this was the case, if we're looking for a buy here, I am definitely looking for reversals here, but if we were looking for a buy here, we would actually see this turning back up, and we would actually see some sort of reversal happen here. The only reversal or strength that I can see so far is this massive big candle, and it's gone up 50%. So 50% of the sellers were bought back by institutions, or like some big buying happening here at this double bottom. Okay, moving on. So I just want to do a few more on the weekly chart, just so we can kind of get a better idea on the weekly chart where we're at. And quant here. So here we can see we're under the major moving averages here, just kind of going sideways here. Quant is one that I really want to get my hands on. Like, this is the real world applications for this. And Wall Street, there's some Fortune 500 companies that are looking at quant and using it for real life application. And here we can see that we've kind of gone sideways and down. I am hoping that we do go down a lot further. I'd really love to pick this up at lower prices. This here, there's only 14.8 million of these in circulation. Now, actually, that's all that will ever be in circulation. So even if you had to hold 10 of these, or 2 of these, at least you got something. So this here is a very strong candidate for a big bull market. Moving on to Matic on the next one. This is on the weekly chart still, by the way. So here we are under all the major moving averages, and all the major moving averages are heading down. We've got increase in selling volume down here as well. Even though we had some buying coming back in here, look at that. We've gone up and rejected from the 50 and heading down. This is a continuation of a downtrend. It actually, when this continues and goes down below this here, that's continuation of a downtrend. Like, so, so far this is a continuation of a downtrend, and it will just be confirming it if it goes below there as well. So my next target for this would be around about 32 cents. If we were to get 32 cents on Matic, I'll definitely be, I'm dollar cost averaging into these now, but not very much. I really do believe that we're going to come down further. So I want to dollar cost average a lot more down in these lows here. So that's on the weekly chart. Let's just keep going through the weekly chart here. And here, have a look at this here with NIA. So NIA's gone down. I'm wondering where it's going to go on Monday, actually. But on the close, this will be very interesting. But we've got still got a high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. But you can see that it's kind of contracting. So, and we can also see there's good volume accumulation that's happening down here in these lows. So big institutions are interested in this one here. Another thing I can see as well, even though we're making lower lows, on the strength we're making higher highs, even though we're facing down. But there's a few positives with NIA. There's a few positives. So this one here, I'm definitely looking at dollar cost averaging into this one, getting some more of this one here. But the lower it goes, the more I want to get. Ripple, bought some of Ripple last night actually at 55.05 something or other. So it was only 50.5 cents. Anyway, like that's gone down there. So I'll just get rid of some of these drawings so we can see it a bit better. Here, so we are actually making some pretty good progress here. But have a look at this here. This is that massive big one that we had here, and I do like to short the green to red move on this one here. I didn't really want to do it with Ripple though because of the court case. So, but one thing we can see, let's just have a look at this one in history here. So once we've had a nice pop like that and we come down, we usually get some sort of stability and then take off again. Here we've done the same again. We've taken off and then we pretty much retraced all of what we went up and some. And then it's gone straight back up. So this over here is like, it appears to be doing something very similar to that there. It's gone up, we can even see up here, it's gone up 30% sold off, and then look at the response. It's gone up, sold 30% off, look at the response. Here it's gone up, sold 30% roundabout, and then look at the response. So, this could still very well take off and head up. I have no problems at all, buying this at 50.5 cents or whatever. Even if it goes down to 25 cents, I'll still be buying more. If it goes up to 90 cents, I'll buy more. I don't really care. What I want to see with Ripple is some massive gains. Whereabouts? I want to see some massive gains with Ripple heading up. But with the court case, there's a lot of very large figures that are being thrown around with Ripple. I don't really think, I think the biggest one I saw was 13,000 per Ripple, which I think is a little bit, well, not a little bit, so far that appears to be way out of reach for me. I'd be expecting a few dollars. If we were to have a look at around about where we think Ripple could go, I think I did the extension and it came up to somewhere near $4 something and then $7 something. Let's just have a look to see where we're at. So if we were to do this here, I'll just move that up here to the next low, and we'll just actually that's the low there. So if we're looking at that, so around about $5 for Ripple. So if we do get $5 for Ripple, that's 10 to 1 on your money. Not that I'd really be selling that. I'd probably be looking for reversals, but I really think that Ripple has some there's a lot of big institutions looking at Ripple and getting involved with Ripple. So, but the SEC is still back on Ripple's case again. So we'll just have to see what happens there with Ripple. I'm still going to dollar cost average in. I have no problem at all, risking my money in with Ripple at all. And Stellar Lumens the same again. So here with Stellar Lumens, we've come up massive selling here, the rejection at the 200, and then we've got like a doji and an engulfing, and now we're at the 9. So it seems to be finding a little bit of support here as well. We've got a low, a high, a higher low, and a higher high. Come back down and found support on this same line here. So, but I just don't like where the 200 and it looks quite messy. I like this sort of thing over here where we're sort of taking off from these lows here. Anyway, that's not what this looks like. ADA, looking at ADA, I definitely like ADA a lot. I'm kind of hoping that ADA will come back down to around about 22 cents. I'd like to buy some more there, or even if it comes back down to these lows here, around about 17 cents. So 22 to 17 cents, somewhere around there with ADA. If we can get something like that, I'll be very happy. I am dollar cost averaging into there at these prices here. It only turns out to be about 41 cents, 42 cents per ADA that it cost me at the moment. So I'm quite happy with that. If it goes down further, I'll definitely be buying more. But this is all dollar cost averaging money. It's not my house money. I'm not putting the farm on it. I'm just putting enough money on there so that if we do manage to get a 20 to 1, 50 to 1, or 100 to 1, or even a 10 to 1, it's going to be worth my while. That's the basic point that I'm trying to make, I suppose. But here we can see that we've gone up, had a massive rejection at the major moving average there, and we've come back down, and then we've got buying. Even though we broke a new low here, we've got buying coming back into this market. But have a look at this. We've gone back up to the 50, and then massive selling, and we've gone back down, and there's buying again. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes, what happens here. But so far at this stage, we're still downtrending. We've got highs, lows, lower highs, and lower lows, and it still seems to be happening. Even though we've got buying happening down here, That's good, it's positive, but we're in a downtrend. So, in a long-term downtrend, it's on the weekly charts too. Solana. So looking at Solana, I'd love to be getting it back here at $8. Whether we can or not, who knows? What was that, around about 8 months ago now? So it's gone up here, but this looks really scrappy to me. It doesn't, this is not the way a bull market behaves. It's like Bitcoin. Here we've got 4 green candles, and we've got 30% sell off up here, and then like we've got previous support becomes new resistance, 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 and resistance again. And then so far, what's going to happen here? We're going to close below these moving averages here. We can see that the selling, institutional selling here. We can actually see that there's some buying happening down here as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with this one. I definitely am looking at Solana. I do have some Solana already, and I will be buying more Solana, but I hope to be buying it down in these lower areas down here. Avalanche is another one. I want to be, I've got some Avalanche, but I'll definitely be buying some more Avalanche as well. VeChain's another one. I do like VeChain a lot, and I do like how it's selling off a lot too, which is really good. And this is the same again. We've got highs, lows, lower lows again. Lower lows here, and then we're testing and potentially threatening these previous lows to make new lower lows. If that's the case, this is all good and well for this trading strategy. If we're going to be buying the dollar cost averaging, just kind of slowly trickling our money into it in these lows here on the weekly chart. If we have a look at this on the daily chart, we can kind of see that things look like they could be running or they could be falling, but the major stability where big money gets their general direction from is the weekly charts. So that's pretty much why I'm looking at the weekly charts. That's VeChain. Now XTZ. Same again, have a look at that. So we're still making highs, lows, lower highs, and lower lows again still at this stage here. So we can still see there's a little bit of accumulation here. We've got a little bit of a reversal there, but there's not much accumulation happening here. Even the volume is quite sad with that one there. Yeah, traders, I don't have any desire to be trading this market out at this stage here, because have a look at it. What's the market doing? If we're looking at doing anything, like, it would have been a good short for this one here. That was the last institutional day of selling, and we can see here by the volume, the candle under everything, and yeah, it's a nice solid candle too. So, but anyway, that's the result that we get. And this one here, could we pop back up to about 27.5? Yep, very, very easily could. And then could we pop back down to about 20,000? Personally, I think that's where we're going to go. I think our first target is around about the 20,000 mark, so that we can actually, see that there's going to be some sort of resistance or some sort of now that we're broken below here, this has done some real damage to Bitcoin in my eyes. And I'm just kind of thinking that if we do, continue like this sideways sort of thing, and then carry on down to this sort of area here. I mean, Bitcoin could turn around and go back up from here, but I really doubt it, because there's so much selling, institutional selling here. There's even institutional selling here, and even selling as this rose up here. Like, there's massive selling that's happened up here. So this one here, yep. For me personally, I'm not really loading up on anything. I'm, for trading, I'm actually thinking dollar cost averaging all the way down. If this goes down to 20, that's great. If it goes down to 17, 18, that's great. If it goes down to 12, that's even better for dollar cost averaging. Could you imagine what these cryptos are going to look like if Bitcoin comes down, and breaks a new low here? It's going to be devastating. But we've got to think, what does big money want? What do the bankers want? They want all the retail traders out, simply because when retail traders get involved, they start selling up here and up here and up here. Retail traders, what they do is slow a bull market down, and so big money doesn't want them in the game, or many of them in the game. So what they'll do is they'll know there's a lot of stop losses below here, and below here. So we can see here already. So what they've done here, this low here, it's already been breached. Actually, has it? Or it looks pretty close actually, but let's just have a closer look. Would have been pretty, yeah, look at that, only by a fraction, but it has been breached. So basically, if there's any stop losses below here, they've been taken out by this candle here. So that is exactly what big money wants. They want to keep on driving this down, get rid of all the weak hands here and all the weak hands down here. So as it keeps on going down further and further and further, all these people that were down here, that have their stop losses, they want to get rid of those stop losses so that these people don't hold that crypto anymore, because it's not theirs. It's gone over to the strong hands, which is the people that are not going to sell until we see a massive rally like this one here or this one here. And also another thing, a catalyst that I'm looking at for Bitcoin as well, in the last three halvings, Bitcoin has kind of taken off a little bit before the halvings happened, but one of the big, so we've got that as a catalyst. So the last three times it's pretty much skyrocketed after the halving. So it's been around about March, April next year. Around about is when the halving is going to happen. I can't remember the exact date, but it's somewhere around there. And another thing is that early next year, there's going to be the SEC say that they won't be looking at or approving any ETFs, equity traded funds, for Bitcoin. So we know that there's Vanguard, BlackRock, Deutsche Bank, there's Grayscale. There's a number of very large institutions that are actually trying to get an ETF. They all want to be first. They want to get an equity traded fund for Bitcoin so they can offer it to their customers, which basically means that let's say BlackRock, for example, I thought it was 95, but it's actually $9.7 trillion under management that they've got. If they were to take, say, 1 or 2% of their portfolio and put it into Bitcoin, let's say they were to stretch out over, say, 6 months or something like that, getting it into there, this would skyrocket the price, hugely. And last time that an ETF was created, let's take gold, for example, it had an 8-year bull run from an ETF. So in the next 6 or 9 months, there's going to be some very big things happening with Bitcoin. But I'm kind of hoping that we go down here and we take out these lows and we get to accumulate these cryptos at dirt cheap prices. And we can really load up down to these lows here before we take off. Anyway, that's my game plan, traders. I hope you, I'll probably leave it there. I hope you have a good week. And I hope you've had a good weekend. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And I'll talk to you again soon. Okay, see you.